Hey, y'all, I'm here. I'm back with a review for Cartel Crew Season 3, Episode 1. If you've been subscribed to me for a while, you know I reviewed last season. I think one of my most viewed videos is the episode from last season when Kat and Stephanie got into that fight, and I think I got like almost 2,000 views on that. And I've been keeping up with them slowly but surely. I've stopped after a while, but I was doing videos when Steph was with Antonio Brown when he was going through all of that. I wonder if we're gonna be able to touch on that this season. I talked about I did two different videos, I believe. Either one, no, I think I did one video on the whole documentary thing with Eddie. I actually forgot about that because that happened a while ago. So that's how I know this was filmed a long time ago, because that whole thing came out along like a while ago. So let's get into it. And I also want to say I'm coming into this season with giving everybody a clean slate. Like, I had the people I didn't like last year, but I'm coming in giving everybody a clean slate, so I don't have no bias towards anybody. So let's get to it. So we go and we see my boo boo Cat. Okay, but y'all know Cat is bae. Cat is bae. I love her so much. Okay, Cat. We see Cat. You know, when she's running her shop. You know, she said, of course, in the beginning of the pandemic. I keep calling it pandemic. The pandemic was, had everything shut down. But remember, they're in Florida, so remember, Florida don't give two fucks about like anything. So like Florida, Atlanta, they've been running up and for a while. And so she talks about how, she was able to get three new apprentice. And she also was able to hire her mom. So Steph ends up coming up to the shop. She comes in and they're talking and stuff. So she comes in the back. And so Kat is talking about how her mom is going to drop off De Niro, which is their son, to Eddie's house or whatever. And then, Kat talks about how her and Eddie aren't together. Now, of course, I know all of this because, like I said, I had been paying attention. But for y'all don't know, Kat and Eddie are no longer together, okay? She said, it just wasn't working out. Stephanie jumps in and is like, oh my gosh, you don't know how happy I am, how happy I am. I don't like that because it really gives me like what it did last season when they were showing the flashback. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm happy for something like that. Like, unless Eddie was like putting his hands on Cat or something like that. Like, I don't think you should be relishing in your friend's like breakup. You know what I'm saying? Even if she is like, made the decision to move on, I don't think you should be like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm sorry. That's not necessary. And I could tell that even Kat was a little agitated because she was like, well, no, the point of the matter is that I tried to make it work. I can sit in my son's face and I can say, me and your dad, we tried to make it work. It just didn't work. So I understand that. So then we get to the whole thing about the documentary. Okay, like I said, I did a video on this and I've really honestly forgot about it to this episode. Okay, so what happened was months ago. I mean, months ago. Like I said, I can go back and watch my video on it. At the time, Eddie was about to come out with this documentary about his life, right? And in the documentary, he talks about, of course, his relationship with Kat. Now, Kat says that she does not like the way that she was portrayed in a documentary. She felt like it was a false representation of her. I'm gonna get more into how I feel about that at the very end when they really talk about it, because I have like probably some different feelings than that other people would. She says she feels like he made her look like a bad girlfriend, which she wasn't. I'll say this part now, but did he try to make you look like a bad mom? That's my question. And I'm not saying that to be a smartass. I really want to know. In the documentary, did he make you look like a bad girlfriend or a bad mom? Because that's an important distinction to me. Yeah, so we'll get to that because I'll get to my feelings about that at the very end. So then we go over to the Blancos, okay, and they're talking about the wedding and stuff like that, and he wants it to be super 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 extravagant, and Marie's like, no, she wants it to be big, but not tigers and cages like at fucking who was it, Q's birthday that they had when Carisha and them was all dressed up all pretty and shit. We don't need tigers. We don't need tigers. Anyway, so then Marie is like, hey, what about if we get Steph to like sing at our wedding or whatever? She can sing a nice song. His face killed me. It's not even that Stephanie, she can sing. I will give her that. She doesn't have like a Whitney Houston type of voice, but she can carry a note. Cause like even on that terrible, terrible, terrible ass Antonio Brown song, the Running song, at first you think the song is okay because the beat comes in and then she go running, 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 running. So we're like, okay, so she does have something there. You know what I'm saying? But his face was funny. Then he talks about as far as his groomsmen is gonna be fine as magic, and Eddie is fine as hell too. But we will get there, okay? Magic is gonna be his best man, and then he talks about how Eddie is gonna be a groomsman. So now Marie's like, hold on. That can't be possible because Kat is my bridesmaid. And he was like, I mean, if they don't like it, then you can uninvite them. And I'm with him. I'm sorry. And I can tell this is apparently going to be a problem, especially for Stephanie, as we all know. As I see next episode, I'm trying to see who her loyalty lies to. In this situation, this should be a situation where everybody should be able to be grown at the end of the day. Y'all share a child together. It's not even like, oh, y'all just two exes. Even if y'all was, y'all still should be able to do it. But the fact that y'all share the child together, y'all should be able and be used to sharing common spaces with one another and being cordial. And on top of that, to be quite honest, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids really don't have to see each other all like that. They only really have to see each other when it comes to like the rehearsal dinner. Maybe if people take the rehearsal dinner, the actual rehearsal itself, and the day of the wedding. Normally, all of the other activities when it comes to like groomsmen and bridesmaids is normally very much separate. The girls and the guys normally don't go together to go and get like their outfits and stuff like that. Normally a color is picked and then the bridesmaids go together and then the groomsmen go together, or however separately it is. When it comes to bachelor or bachelorette parties, a lot of times, sometimes they are joint, but a lot of times they're not at the same time. And my whole thing is, even if Eddie, let's just go by all intents and purposes and say that Eddie isn't a groomsman. You gonna say he can't come to the wedding? Come on now, like I agree with him. If they both can't handle it, then they both need to be uninvited. We are grown ass people here. It's not about y'all. Y'all don't hate each other to the point to where somebody needs to smack somebody. Y'all have a kid together. Y'all should be used to being cordial around each other. Y'all ain't even gotta speak. So I know this is gonna be made a bigger deal than it fucking needs to be. So then we get to Betty, okay? And unfortunately, Betty's sister, Giselle, who was 17, she was killed at a party. Now, allegedly, the report says that she was shot at a party, but it was like allegedly, the gun misfired. So it wasn't like a on purpose type of thing. But I guess her family thinks otherwise. I don't know enough about the case to give my opinion on it, so I have no idea. And I listened to, because I'll just talk about that now. Later on, there's a point where Betty goes and meets up with one of Giselle's friends that was actually there. And I listened to the whole story and things like that because she didn't actually really see it herself. She just kind of said she's seen it in her peripheral a little bit. And so I don't know enough about the case. I would have to look into it, or maybe they'll tell us more about the case as to why they feel like it was on purpose. So I guess we'll get more into that. It was very, very sad. Her mama is beautiful. She just said that she felt like she should have been a little bit more strict on her. What I will say about this whole thing, not about this, because this has nothing to do with Betty or her mama or anything like this. This is like a tip to me, like, and who am I? But I'm just saying, VH1, when something like this happens, we don't need all of the extra theatrics for you to get the point across. I feel like that opening, like, whole little thing that y'all did, which was kind of what y'all did at the end, it's not that what she was saying. It's the way that y'all captured it. The way that y'all captured it, the zoom-ins and the music, it made it over dramatic for no reason. We don't need no more dramatics than what actually happened. Just leave the story as is. Y'all added way too much, especially in the fucking beginning. It was way too much. And it feels like y'all trying to make, like, I don't want to say a mockery out of the girl's death, but it was just too much. Just less is more in a situation like that. Just let her actual emotion pour through the screen. We don't need all of the extra music and the sweeping camera and the close-ups and everybody looking super, super close up. We don't need all of that. Not necessary. Not necessary. So anyway, so then we go over to Diana. Okay, now Diana is in a new house. She has a new boyfriend who is 25. I said, alrighty, Diana, I see you. All right, girl. And he's been living there with them for 8 months. He's 25 and 8. Okay, all right. Okay, 25 and 8. Alrighty. So she goes around the table and she talks to everybody. Her son is so cute. And then gets to her daughter Maria and says, you know, like, I don't understand, like, you keep getting on into it with people online and stuff like that. And she's pretty much like, it's not me, like, I don't be starting anything, that's them, like, they be having something to say to me and I just be saying stuff back, da 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 da. And then her older sister jumps in and she's like, look, at the end of the day, they're jealous because she's on this show, okay, and they're jealous because of the lifestyle that we live. Do I believe that? Yes, absolutely. But what Diana was saying is facts, like, okay, but you're the one who go back and forth with them. You're the one that feeds into that. And I keep trying to tell these young whippersnappers, do not engage. It's not, let them argue with themselves. So what? They gonna be doing all of that talking, and guess what? You still up in a nice ass house back on VH1. And they're mad. So just, you know what I mean? Like, and I understand that's harder said than done, but for real, like, it's not, it's annoying and it's pointless for real. So then Diana talks about how, you know, she was like, I get stuff sent all the time from you know, people since I've been on the show, you know, about my kids and stuff. And somebody sent me a picture the other day of Maria in the picture, like, holding a gun like this, and then it was like two more holding a gun to her head, and there was like two more people with guns behind her. I said, excuse me? First of all, okay, and she's like, so she said to her, she was like, that's not cute at all. Like, the first thing I thought about is Betty's sister, which obviously, but my whole thing is, I realized that they said that because at one point in time in there, you know, like, they was trying to tell her, you know, like, you got to do better and stuff like that. Like, you're 15. And her sister was like, you're grown, you're 15. First of all, she's not grown. Second of all, why is your 15-year-old in a hotel with a whole bunch of guys and guns on top of that? Now, the guns part you probably can't, you know, can't help or whatever. But why is she in a hotel by herself at the age of 15? That's out of pocket right there. She's 15 years old, not 16. She's 15. She's 15. And even at 16, I'd say keep your eye on her. And I get it. I get that Diana, you know, she be a little bit more lax with how she parent and all of this other stuff. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I'm not saying that what happened to Betty's sister was her mom's fault, because it absolutely was not. It absolutely was not. But in your situation, Diana, you have a kid that's a child that's much younger than that. At 17, that little girl gonna go out and do what she want to do. But at 15, you have a little bit more of a say, or at least you should have a little bit more of a handle. If I'm Diana, first of all, this conversation ain't going to even go as nicely as Diana had it. You better than me, because as soon as I would have got that fucking picture, furniture moving, shit is going flying across. Oh, it went into my water too. I did perfect though. Anyway, there's gonna be shit flying across this damn room. I'm going off. We're not having a calm conversation about it. We'll start with the calm conversation, but after that, your ass is on lockdown, little girl. After we have a conversation again, kind of like they did, because I'm not taking away from the conversation that she had, because I do think it's good to talk to your kids like that. But I'm just saying, bitch, you ain't going nowhere after that. And I'm not trying to call her kid a bitch, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, you ain't going nowhere after that. Locked down. Are you insane? 15 years damn old. And I'm looking at Marie, because you could just tell she in that teenager, like, I don't give a like type of stage or whatever. I'm like, girl, she gonna be a handful. A handful. 15. No. So then we go over to Eddie and Nero. They're in the park playing or whatever, you know. Eddie's talking to us about, you know, how him and Kat didn't work out, you know, how he has a new girlfriend whose name is actually Kat too. Very ironic. Then, you know, he talks to De Niro for a second. I think he was asking him, like, did he want to stay with him longer or something like that. And he was like, well, he said, yeah, I want to stay with you. I think he said 2 weeks. And then Eddie was like, oh, I don't think your mom will let you do that. And then, De Niro was like, is everything okay with you and mommy? And he said, yeah, why would you say that? He was like, I don't know. And he was like, everything is okay. I just have to, live over here, and your mom have to live over here. I appreciate Eddie being real with his son and being like, not trying to, feed him a false hope, like, oh no, everything's perfectly fine. It's like, we're okay, just know that regardless of what's going on between me and your mom, we love you, period. So I like that. So he said he wants to talk to Kat to try to figure out like how they can better communicate, because regardless, they got kids together. So like I said, I told y'all about the whole meeting that Betty had with Gigi's friend. Okay, so Kat and Eddie meets up in this parking lot, okay? And Eddie tells Kat the conversation that he had with De Niro. And, she's like, oh, well, like, that surprises me, So he was like, I think we should just get whatever little issues we got. Let's just get it out on the table. So he was like, I know I've done a lot of wrong. I know I fucked up in a lot of different ways. He said, even when it comes to the documentary, like, I was wrong. He said, but the difference is that I came and I told you that I was wrong versus you going out making a video, going off on me and all of this stuff like that. And she was like, I did that because I didn't know how else to get your attention. I sat on the phone with you for 4 hours and I begged you to not put it out, and you did it anyway. And so he says, well, explain to me why you hate it so much. And she said, first of all, because you said that I supported it when I didn't. And then secondly, she was like, you was depicting me as a bad girlfriend. You're talking about, what did you say? She was like, you're talking about the fact that, like there wasn't food in the house and stuff like that, and I can remember getting up and getting you this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And you're trying to say I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and I did it. At the end of the day, I don't like the way that you depicted me. You depicted me in a bad way. And she said all of those things that you said that I did, I never did. And he said, from your perspective, like that's the way that you see it, but that's not the way that I see it. And she said, at the end of the day, you're not about to sit up here and try to make up something about me that's not true. And this is how I feel about all of that. Before we go any further, I'm like two-sided about it, because I can understand, and I think I said this in my video too. I'm gonna go back and watch it after I'm done, but I think I said this in my video. And maybe this is because I watch a lot of Iyanla, and Iyanla says a lot of times that you can't be upset on how somebody else perceives you, and you can't be upset of somebody else's experience of you. That's their experience of you. You might not see it that way. It might be completely different from what you know to be the truth, but that's their truth. That's their experience of you. And a lot of times we're not able to move forward because we're stuck right there, because we're like, no, I didn't do this. No, I didn't do that. No, I didn't do this. And again, so let me say this. I fully understand if I'm Kat and I really feel like, or in my head, I know in my head, that's a lie. I did do this. I did make sure that there was food in the house. I did do that. I'm going to be aggravated too. Honestly, I definitely understand being aggravated about that. However, from Eddie's side, maybe that's not how he saw the relationship. Hindsight is 20/20 a lot of times, and the more and more distance that we get from situations and memories, everybody's perception of something, like for instance, it's kind of like with a crime scene, right? Like there can be like 5 different people there from wherever, right? And they all see the same crime. And then when they're sat down by the police officers, everybody is saying something different. The first guy is saying that that the robber was 6 foot, black hair, black guy. The second guy says, no, he's 5'8". He was a white guy and he had blonde hair. You get what I'm saying? Like everybody's perspective on a situation is different. And that's not necessarily to say what was right or what was wrong. In your head, that's why I don't really think that was an excuse when he was saying to you. Like I said, maybe it's because I watch a lot of Iyanla, but that's what I think about it. And as far as him putting out also I want to say before I get to that part, I asked, did he say anything about being a bad mom? Obviously he didn't, because she was pregnant during this whole time that he's talking about. So I would look at it differently if he was trying to say she was a bad mother. That I understand, and I will go off about that. But I feel like, and again, this is not me caping for Eddie, because I didn't say this, but Eddie is fine as fuck. Like he's so fucking fine. But I'm not caping for Eddie. I'm just saying this in the sense of Eddie has already admitted on this show and during this conversation that he was wrong for what he did, right? And Kat feels like when it comes to the whole thing with the cheating, she feels like he's trying to, in his documentary, he's using all of these other things as an excuse to say why he cheated. I personally wouldn't buy that shit. Whoever wants to buy that wants to buy it, okay? But again, that's for each viewer to look at and see. Me personally, the reason I would never buy that is because Eddie has said on this show last season and right now, and has said that he cheated on you when you was pregnant, and he was absolutely wrong, and he's trash, and he's a monster, and he's a beast. So I don't really care what it looks like in a documentary. I heard it out his mouth that he said he's trash. You get what I'm saying? So that's that. What else? Oh, finally, what I want to say about the whole thing about like her being put like in like a film or something, or a documentary, you know, somebody acting like they're her, whatever, how she doesn't like that. What that really made me think about is, and obviously these people are not on these people's level, but I'm using it as an example. For example, damn it, I just had a good one. I can't think about it right now. Let's start with what's love got to do with it, right? From Ike Turner's perspective, as he has said a lot of times, that's not what happened. Or, you know, the way that she said it is not what happened, right? But Tina was still able to go out there and tell her story. Even if I use, for example, the Bobby Brown movie situation. Now, what I don't like is, I don't like when somebody puts something out about like their relationship and that person can't defend themselves, aka a lot of times when that person is no longer here. So for example, let's use Bobby Brown for example. A lot of people didn't like what he did because Whitney is not here to defend herself. However, he did also in his biopic put his interpretation of his relationship with Janet Jackson. Now, Janet Jackson had put out a statement before the movie dropped and said, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen. And people was able to take her statement and watch the movie and make their own depictions. And most people honestly believe Janet as far as I'm concerned. So in this situation, I feel like, Kat, you have the platform. You had the platform before to tell your side of the story. Plus you have a platform now. Plus you can go out and make your own documentary to show or to say from your side that's not what the fuck happened. However, I still want to say that I can understand why she would be hurt by that. I can understand, like she said, you ratting for somebody and you doing all of this shit just for them to turn around and pretty much say you never did nothing for me. I can understand how that's very, very hurtful. Very hurtful. So I'm not trying to invalidate her feelings. Not at all. Her feelings are valid. Her feelings are valid. Absolutely valid. I want to make that clear because I'm not trying to say she doesn't have a reason to be upset. She absolutely does. I get it. Okay? I get it. All right? Kat also talks about how she feels some type of way. Now, this is the only part I don't agree with. Is she said that she felt some type of way about when it came to the whole scene about him cheating on her, instead of, you know, her just walking in on him, like he had it to where he was pushed up against this girl all on the wall. And it's like, all right, I understand that that's like painful and stuff like that, but again, this is what I'm talking about. You can't tell somebody how to tell their story. You feel what I'm saying? It's gonna be painful regardless. It's gonna be painful. You went through it. It's painful regardless, girl. So yeah, so that's that on that. Eddie said he was wrong as fuck and he was a monster. Eddie said that he was fresh out and didn't want to be in a relationship but stayed in it anyway. Now that's the part right there that's trash. He said, at first I think he said that, oh, I was trying to tell you don't catch feelings. But then what Kat is saying is facts, like, so then we moved in with each other and all of this. If you really didn't want to be in a relationship, Eddie, I don't know if they cut up the scene because he said he didn't want to be in a relationship with her, and then she pretty much was like, well then, in a roundabout way, like, well then why did you continue like to pursue me the way that you didn't act like you was in a relationship? But then he also said that Kat was selfish because, like, for breaking up with him or some shit like that, which didn't make any sense to me at all. Like she said, that was the most selfless thing I did. And he's like, how was that selfless? How was that selfish? Because, as she said, instead of if I know that me and you are not working out, right, obviously, I'm not going to sit up here and make De Niro be used to a environment or a situation that's not going to even last. It's pointless. It's dragging it out on him and it's dragging it out on both of us. Let you go find somebody that you want to be with. I 1010% agree. I don't understand. How is she being selfish? That doesn't make any sense to me, Eddie. You can't use your fine trickeries over here. You can't use your light-skinned, very, very moisturized hair. You can't use those tricks over here. Can't use those tricks. That wasn't selfish of her. She did the best thing for her and her kid, and specifically for her kid, because I just told somebody this. I would rather grow up in 2 homes that are happy than be in 1 miserable home together. Okay? Okay. And you got a new girlfriend, like she said. So why the hell does this even matter? So Eddie said that at the end of the day that they're just incompatible or whatever. And Kat says, you know, regardless of anything, she wants the best for him. And, you know, if it's not about dinero, there's pretty much no point in talking about it, which I have to agree. Ain't no point in talking about it. And I see that next week she's gonna meet his girlfriend. I can't wait to see how that go, because y'all know my girl Kat be on go. Y'all know my girl Kat, she be on go. She be ready. She be ready. So I can't wait. And so then at the very end, they did this candlelight for Gigi, like they had done in the rolling at the top of the episode. So yeah, so I think the first episode was cool. I was a little bit surprised that we didn't get anything from Nicole, but I guess we'll get into her next week. We did see her, so we shall see y'all. But y'all getting to call me, tell me what y'all think about the first episode. I'm out. Bye.